Tom and Christina are officially done. Yeah, it's all news at this point. But what is interesting right before us here is that there's two different elements that are taking place in this relationship outward looking here. You have Christina, who has semi-opened up at this point. She's been posting on Instagram, TikTok. She's actually been doing some shows. She's in Europe right now. So things are happening here, but she's been respectful as of right now and not throwing, Tom underneath the boat here. Now, obviously, the evidence before us, if you are a fan of Your Mom's House, the wild humor between both of Tom and Christina it's always been a little out there. And two, there's moments of this that me and my wife like because we connect with it too, the weird behaviors. But two, I think a lot of us have noticed that Tom has changed in the last few years here. He has really turned into one of these guys that seem like they would really do well with being the president of the manosphere. He has turned into this just person that's working out all the time, making money, making fun of people that don't have money, really pushing in on that. But, it's this place of where we kind of put up with it because it was the fact that Tom seemed to be a good guy, that Tom was the father that, a lot of us wanted to be like, great supporter, great husband, faithful father. Those things looked like they were kind of true as much as we could hope for. But two, there were things that we were catching in the podcast with Your Mom's House. We were catching that Tom was wanting to tour more, and Christina was not happy with that Tom was gone too much. And if you're new to the Tom and Christina relationship, Your Mom's House has been around for a long time. So for a lot of us, these last 3-4 years since Tom essentially fell, broke his wrist, broke his arm, the whole thing, lost a bunch of weight, became even more rich. He's really changed here. This isn't the same, big fat Tom that we had years back with Christina when they were having, kids, really starting off in this new journey of where they were going to end up here. Really before they became, multi-millionaires. It was just this podcast called Your Mom's House, and they were both out of shape. But Christina's still very beautiful, and they both just look like regular people, nothing special. They were just comedians. And I don't think anyone could have ever imagined that they would become what they were with this huge business of what they've, encompassed now. So really, this is nowhere near done because it's no coincidence that Christina has been the one that is out here talking, just in general sense of like, hey, how's it going? And Tom has been completely quiet. And what we've already seen, the majority of fans have taken sides already. People are with Christina 100% because there's so much evidence that we can track looking at Tom and go, yeah, something has definitely taken place here. Tom has done something terrible, or he's said, hey, I just don't want to do this anymore. And that sucks. It really is a shocker. I'm going to be honest. This is one of those things where it wasn't like shocking, like, oh my God, but it was shocking in a sense of like, this sucks. I think everyone, if 6 months ago, before we ever caught any wind of this, if you would have said who was the one to break up with who, we would have said Tom 100%, because there have been weird things that we've caught in the podcast and we went, is that scripted? Is that a joke between them? Or is that a place of this is something that they are struggling with in their marriage? It really is interesting. Now listen, I know this is not my normal routine with what I talk about, but listen, I'm a little bitch at the end of the day. I love gossiping, okay? So with that, I look at this and I go, this really does, it sucks. It bugs me because I want to know what's going on with all this. I really do. And I think when Tom does come out and says like, hey, this is what it is, he's going to get effing crucified. He is going to get ripped apart. Now, the sad part about this is with our culture of how things work here, 2 years from now, he will probably be bigger than he's ever been. He will be fine. This will all work out. He'll be richer than ever. He'll come out with a new special. He'll have a new girlfriend. Everyone's going to hate her, but still, he's going to attract new fans. Tom really, what we've noticed in those last few years too, is that he really has morphed into the manosphere, place. And as someone who could not relate in any way to the manosphere, I mean, I am such a introvert, dork, loser compared to those guys, and I'm proud of it. I look at this and I go, the Tom of 6 years ago seemed like a really fun, goofy guy that I would be friends with. Now the Tom that we have, he seems very just uncomfortable to be around, that he would just mock you and make fun of you, and not in a playful, fun way, just like, he really does. It seems like he just thinks he's better than everyone. And yeah, there might be a little truth to that, obviously, but just because he's rich and good looking and has a six-pack now doesn't mean it's right. So the evidence before us, what we know that Christina's talking. She hasn't gone into detail, and she's probably not going more into detail because she knows if she gives any detail about what's really going on here, it's going to be really bad. And she's probably trying to help her ex-husband at this point, trying to continue to save his career, because at the end of the day, their careers are going to be all they have. Their careers have, been what they built together. We've never had them separate. We've never just had Christina. We've never just had Tom. Now, obviously, they've always done their own thing, but they've always met back in the middle with your mom's house and, interviews and knowing them together. That's what made the both of them so strong. And that's really, that is the vein of this conversation too, because that seems to be what maybe Tom doesn't understand. Do we like Tom? Yeah, but I would say if you put a poll out there between your mom's house fans, Tom, Christina, whatever it be, I would say the main thing that drove this is because there were inside jokes that we got to see in his specials from your mom's house. In his relationship with Christina and his boys, the stories that he would tell, they're hilarious. But at the end of the day, this is a situation now where this just really sucks. It sucks big balls, really big donkey balls. And where it goes from here, it's probably a lot worse. Think about it. Jelly Roll and his lady broke up, and they were like, yeah, we're just going different ways. This is what it is. And why we're not getting that with Tom and Christina, the longer this drags on, it's making a lot of people think that oh my God, maybe Tom did do something. I cannot imagine God in heaven that Christina did something inappropriate to their sanctity of marriage. I just cannot imagine. She really loved this guy, so it's really hard to imagine that. So we'll see what comes out here, but damn, Tom, what did you do, man? It's going to be a different outlook for Tom Segura. There's no doubt about that. It's just a different kind of fan base that I think he's going to, attract. There's going to be people obviously that stay with him, but I think I would be willing to say donuts to a dollar, that he's going to 70% of his fan base was his fan base because of your mom's house. And they liked that he was married. They liked Christina. They liked the family stories. And now that's done. So, shit, it sucks. Anyway, thanks for listening to me gossip. Appreciate it. Bye.